Charlotte and today I'll be doing my House Tyrell recommendations. Now if you haven't seen my video for my house start recommendations, I do recommend watching that because that goes over what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. We'll leave a link up in the cards and in the description box, and there's also a playlist which will probably be linked somewhere below. But basically I'm recommending books based on the houses of Westeros, and today we'll be doing House Tyrell. So when I think of House Tyrell, I think of roses, gracefulness, ambition, slyness and deception, and the books I've chosen for this house I think encompass the majority of those things, but of course if you disagree or there's some books that you think I missed, please let me know in the comments. The first book I'll be recommending for this house is Heartless by Marissa Meyer. This is a retelling of Alice in Wonderland but from the Queen of Hearts perspective, and as you can tell from the cover there are like thorns and like a rose bush on it, and that is why I picked it for House Tyrell. But I've also picked it because Catherine, the main character who becomes the Queen of Hearts, is also quite ambitious. Perhaps not in the way that her parents want her to be, but she does have her ambition of wanting to be a baker and owning her own bakery. I also feel like she's a bit sly because there are some times where she does things and I'm just like, really? You like she's not the nicest character, and it's hard to describe because she's not a bad person, but she's just really frustrating, and some of the choices she makes are just makes you question where her loyalties lie, I guess, and her thought process behind it and all that. So if you like retellings and fantasy, give this a go. I would say it is quite true to the whole Wonderland aspect. You know, it's a bit wacky, out there, whimsical, but yeah, if you don't like that kind of thing, maybe give this a miss. The second book I have picked is The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. I have picked this because this is quite a deceptive book. The blurb and also the cover don't really give much away, and going in you really have no idea what this is about, but basically it follows a circus in the Victorian era, I believe, and it is just full of magic and fantasy and whimsy and such beautiful descriptions. It is totally worth the hype and I really recommend it if you like really richly detailed fantasy. But this is deceptive because, well, one, you don't know what it is going in, but also because the characters involved, they trick some of the characters, and there's just kind of a web of lies and, well, maybe not of lies, but a web of deception in that nobody really is entirely clear on what is going on in this, and the main kind of plot is a challenge between these two characters pictured here, only they aren't clear on it, you know, so the reader isn't clear on it, characters aren't clear on it, and that to me is very deceptive and reminds me of House Tyrell. And also the descriptions in it remind me of the grace of the house. And you think of Marjorie Tyrell, she always comes across as very sweet, and I felt that way about Celia, one of the main characters. And then you think about Olenna Tyrell, and she is very kind of haughty and graceful, and she always looks immaculate, and I think there's quite a lot of that in here as well, because not only the time period but just the characters seem to be quite fashionable, so yeah. And then book 3 is my wild card for this house, and I think I might have a wild card for each house because, I don't know, to me it kind of fits, but I can see why it might not fit. But this time it is A Quiet Kind of Thunder by Sarah Bernard, and this to me captured the more positive, sweet side of the Tyrells, because on first glance Marjorie is super sweet, super friendly, super helpful, especially to Sansa, and if you have read the books, I believe it's her father, Mace Tyrell, is just kind of bumbling and helpless and gets taken for granted a bit, and that to me just means, I don't know, it just felt like this book because the characters in it are so sweet, and I feel like Steffi is severely underestimated in this, and yeah, it's just super sweet. I don't know how else to describe it. But this follows Steffi, who is a selective mute because of her severe anxiety, and she gets paired up with the new boy in school, Reese, who is deaf. And they get paired up because as she doesn't speak, she learns some sign language, and Reese, being deaf, speaks sign language, so they get paired up and then it follows their blossoming relationship, and it is really sweet and a very good portrayal of anxiety, I thought. So those were my 3 recommendations for House Tyrell, again going off the ambition, slyness and the kind of deceptive sweetness, I guess. I think these are a bit more vague and clutching at straws, but it's just my interpretation, and if you disagree with me, like I said before, please let me know in the comments and recommend me some books that you think would suit this house. And I'll hopefully see you next time with some more recommendations. Bye!